Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Abe with MysticGenMara.com, a small town mystic from the middle of Idaho. And tonight, whenever you happen to be seeing this, I would like to offer your June elemental energy reading for the element of fire. Fire covers the zodiac signs of Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. So if you're Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, or have fire high up in your chart, this message is for you. We'll start off doing the I-ching hexagram, which I cast before the video, and then we will get into the tarot. And these are general readings, so take what works, leave the rest for someone else. And fire, you have number 6 as your hexagram, and it is the hexagram of conflict. And the text says, conflict, confidence accomplished by obstacles. With care, affairs can be made to prosper in the middle course. But the final outcome will be disaster. It is advantageous to visit a great man. Do not cross the great river or sea. This is not a month, just from that first little bit there, of big projects. This is do the little stuff, seek advice from someone who's older or wiser or someone who's been there, done that. And it's really wanting to make sure that the best option you can do is stay neutral in things. Don't get polarized one way or the other. That's where it says it's affairs can be made to prosper in their middle course. So if you wander too far to one side or the other, get out of balance, so to speak, things aren't going to go so great. So let's hop over to our foundation line. Provided that affairs are not pressed through to the end and that as little as possible is said about them, they will end propitiously. You don't need to rush things. You don't need to try to force things. Square peg, round hole type energy here. You don't want to deal with that, so you just want to kind of let things happen. If you are involved, do so quietly. Don't make a big scene about anything this month. And that's what the foundation is saying, is so your baseline foundation for the month is move quietly, don't push anything, just let it kind of happen and observe it, is what I'm hearing. A second line, as the conflict cannot be resolved, he bears a hasty retreat. His clan, numbering 300 households, also escapes harm. So if you notice that something's boiling up and you can't fix the problem, don't get involved, walk away. It's not your problem. And by doing so, you're actually going to help solve the problem anyway, because the people who could be affected by it are going to actually walk away with you. So you want to make sure you're not getting involved. Again, square peg, round hole. Don't force anything this month. Our third place line, he nourishes himself upon the ancient virtues. Right determination leads to initial trouble, followed by good fortune. Were he to seek public office, he would not be able to attain it. You do not want to be public this month. That is the key takeaway for our fire families. Do not go hunting some public affirmation or accolades. It's not probably the best option. But you nourish yourself upon the ancient virtues. So that's the 7 heavenly virtues. You want to work with those. You want to get clear with what those stand for. And when we talk about that, it's also your personal code of conduct, your personal ethics and morals in alignment with the divine. And that's what is going to really help you out this month, is staying true to that. So our fourth place line, since the conflict cannot be resolved, it is best to retreat and submit to heaven's will. Peaceful determination brings good fortune. They're not going to be able to solve any big problem that pops up. It's not going to be resolved in June. We'll just put it that way, fire. And that may be frustrating, but it's also saying submit to heaven's will. Let it go. Talk to God's source and be like, okay, what's going on here? This isn't working for me. How am I going to play this forward where it's not going to affect others negatively or myself? And that's where that peaceful determination. You want to keep working towards a goal, but this particular big conflict that's popping up here, it's not worth it. Give it over to heaven. Let them deal with it. Your fifth place line, conflict followed by supreme good fortune. Things are going to work out all right. It's just not going to be because of direct conscious action that you have put into it. You're not forcing anything. You're letting God's source deal with it. You're letting the will of heaven do it. And then the conflict resolves, but it's not because of you. So don't take it personal and don't try to make it personal. This is not your battle to fight. It's someone else trying to bring it to your table. And you're like, no, thank you. Take it over there. I don't need it. So our capstone, the top one, is if a girdle of honor were bestowed upon him, he would be forced to strip it off thrice in one day. You don't want to be rewarded or acknowledged for something that you didn't do. If people bring this to you saying, oh, you did such a good job resolving this, that wasn't me, I had nothing to do with it. That's the easiest answer. Because if they think that you can solve that kind of a problem when it's coming through this month, that's not what happened, you're going to end up failing later on down the road. That's that trip and fall thing. And that's where you get into the core aspects of virtue, integrity, more personal ethics, morals, things like that, is when you can stand and say, no, that wasn't me. Thank you, though, for the compliment. Not my situation, not my monkeys, basically. That's going to benefit you in the long term. So definitely want to stay clear on how this is going to play out. It's not you that's doing things this month. You're taking your attention and putting it on the goal at hand. Conflict that arises, you're handing it over to the will of heaven, to God's source, and let them deal with it. It's not yours to deal with this month. So with that, we'll hop into our cards here. If you're new here, hit that like button, comments, subscribe, all that fun jazz. I read intuitively as we go through the cards, so if you see something different, because everyone's intuition's a little more unique at times, feel free to leave that in the comments section down below. I like to look at each week individually, so there's 4.5 weeks in June, we'll call it 5. Each week we look at a guide or guardian, a message from source, and then a little more clarification from the tarot. And if you're interested in any of the decks I'm using, they are linked in the description down below. Some of them are affiliates, some of them aren't, so you can judge how you will on that. Your first week's card guide is Angelic Protection. As you go through this month, the I-ching is talking about there may be some things popping up you're not ready or you don't want to deal with, which you shouldn't have to. The angelic protection is saying, this is not your fight. Let the angels, let God's source, let the will of heaven deal with the situation of conflict. You stay focused on the task at hand, moving towards the goals, and allow any conflicts to be passed away to them. Let those entities and energies, let them deal with that. And that's this angelic protection. It's also saying that you're going to have a lot more support in general than you probably thought you had in the first place. So if you've been feeling kind of isolated or alone, be aware that that may be a good thing. You may be being protected from drama that's really not yours. And so this first week is this understanding that, no, you're taken care of. Don't worry about stuff. And also, if there's things that are being pulled away, it's because they're not beneficial for you. Your message from source is knowledge seeking, not seeking knowledge. I'm not sure why it says it twice. But the reality is, this first week is look for the truth of a situation. Get clear ideas, focus on how to make it grow better. But if there's conflict, you're looking for the ways around the conflict. It is not yours to deal with, so do not put attention towards it. And when we do this, our knowledge sometimes makes us dream the truth. Our intuition kicks in, things start to fall into place, those little synchronicities, and that's what's really the knowledge beyond knowledge, I guess we could call it. That's where your, I guess you could call it your psychic awareness kicks in, your ability to hear and understand your guides and guardians kicks in. So this is a really strong pull this month to really just let things happen and work on the stuff that you're towards your goal. But if there's conflict arising, not your problem, find a way around it. Your message from the tarot is the Three of Swords. Swords are air, which is generally helpful energy to fire, but in this situation, it's saying don't get too focused on what others think. It's not you do not want to be the center of attention this month. This is your month to quietly move forward, quietly do things, and let source deal with the bigger conflict. And so you see, like, there's someone asking for help here. That's not necessary in this situation because you have the help you need. You have the help that you actually require, but you don't need to make it public or loud. And that's kind of what the energy I'm getting with that is it's not necessary to be all loud and boisterous this month. So let's take a peek at your second week's guide or guardian. And we have strength and guidance. You're going to have the strength to get through this. That's the reason that you're handing it over to the will of heaven. You're handing it over to God's source, letting the angels protect you. And that's actually showing your strength of character because you know you don't really need to deal with this. Yes, you could. It may not go so well, but it's not necessary. And the guidance that's coming in is your guidance from your higher self, your guidance from the supreme will of the Creator. And when you understand and listen to that guidance as you go through this second week, you realize, A, you are protected, B, I don't have to deal with everything. That's someone else's problem. They brought it to me because they had confidence that I could do it, which is great, but it's not my problem, so I'm not going to. I'm going to let someone else deal with it because it's not going to end well if I'm getting involved. But if I let someone else handle it, things might be a little more smooth this month. Your message from Source is the dragon with discovering your courage. When you have to say no to something, sometimes that's more hard and more courageous than it is to say yes. When you have those difficult times where you know that if you say no, that person might be offended, which really is their problem, not yours. And if that's the case, then you have to be able to be courageous enough to say, you know what? This is not my expertise. This is not my forte. This is not my circus. So I don't want to deal with your monkeys. You take them over somewhere else. Let them deal with it. This is not going to be an easy thing, Fire, because you want to be able to fix it. You have this urge inside to be the hero. That's not going to be your benefit this month, so don't do that. I mean, you do what you want, but that's the cards coming through are saying, just let it go. The courage to say no and to walk away is going to be a lot more of a challenge for you than staying and trying to fix it, because the fixing it's going to be a major headache no matter what. You already know this. So the courage to say no and stepping away from the situation, you may have to reach out for some higher frequencies, and that's where dragon comes in, because a dragon, when it puts its foot down, that's the end of the discussion. So your message from the tarot is the King of Wands. Wands are fire, so this is seeking advice from, how did the I-ching say it? Basically someone who's older or wiser. And so the great man, that's what it was. This is the great man. This second week, if you're feeling challenged or you're feeling this is where that draw to get into the chaos is coming in, this is your opportunity to seek advice from the great man. Know that you do not need to get involved this month. This is not your fight. This is not your problem. Someone is bringing it to your table, but it is not yours to deal with. So get clear on that higher self, that great man energy, and it could be a woman. We're not looking at gender. We're going with what it says in the book. And when they say, yeah, there's a problem here, you probably could solve it. Do you really want to get involved in that? Because it's going to wear you out. You're going to end up with a bigger problem on your hands later on. Or just let it go. Hand it over to the people who need to deal with it and walk away. Because sometimes those wiser people have been through stuff and they see the pattern playing out and they're going, dude, you do not want to be involved. I know how this is going to end up. Just hand it off and walk away. So your third week is forgiveness and understanding. Interesting way to wrap up to bring in the third week here. The angels of forgiveness are saying if there's someone who's offending or pushing or something like that, allow yourself the gift of forgiving them and then let it go. And when you do that, a lot of the times the blinders that you put on fall away, and then you can see and with understanding why they would have done that or why it was brought to you in the first place. Forgive and let it go. It's not your problem. And when you do that, you're going to see more clearly why they thought you were the one to deal with it, or why they decided to bring it to your table. It's not necessary. But you'll come to an understanding of, okay, so the people that are around me have that kind of confidence in me, and that's important. That's huge. But it's also doesn't mean you have to solve everyone else's problems. Your message from Source is animal bond, standing up for animals. This one always brings me back to the energy of animal guides and spirit guides. And so if this is something that resonates with you this third week, pay attention to the movements and actions of the animals you're around. If you have a spirit animal guide that you're already aware of, notice what is coming through for messages. This third week, there's something very strong with the animal oracle energy or the animal guide energy. So be aware of how Source is going to work with bringing messages forward. If you see a flock of birds in the air, what's the pattern? What's the impression you get? If your dog starts acting strange in the house, not like negative, but just like chasing their tail when they never do that, what's going on around you that's helping this animal remind you to pay attention? Or if it's a spirit animal, what dreams are you getting? So this third week is really about pay attention to the animal kingdom, because they are going to offer you some guidance and information as you move forward here. So let's shuffle the cards and about threw it out. We have from the tarot number 9, I think. I am terrible with Roman numerals. It is the Strength card. With Strength, we're looking at conquering our fears. We're talking about overcoming. And in this situation, you're overcoming this need to be the one who solves the problem. You're overcoming this ego-driven, I will solve this, I will fix this. You don't need to. And sometimes it takes more strength to say no, just like with the courage aspect, than it does to be involved. And with that forgiveness and understanding, when you open yourself up to forgiveness and you release this, that's when you step into that strength level of, this is not my problem. And you can push all you want. I am not taking on someone else's destruction. I am not taking on someone else's mess. It's their problem. They can handle it. Thank you for the vote of confidence that I can do it. But this isn't mine. And so that's just a way to keep yourself free of a lot of excess drama this month. Your message from your guide or guardian, for the 4th week is do the work. This does not mean the loud work. This is not the bombastic work. This is the quiet, behind the scenes, working towards the goals, getting clear on what it is you're trying to do, but not because you have this urge to be the best and be the loudest. This is not your month for that, fire. This is your month for quiet, for growth without others noticing. The people who are trying to push you into the spotlight are not your friends this month. So you do not want to get involved. And when you do the work, the quiet inner work, the world shifts in unique ways anyway. But with that, it's helping you realize, oh, wait, if I do this, that bypasses this problem that's someone else's. And then I can deal with this, and that's pushing me towards my goal and getting me closer to the outcome that I'm really actually searching for. Your message from Source is money, find a way to flow to abundance. Again, we're looking at alternatives. You're doing the work of moving towards your goals. Money is a goal for some people. It may not be for you. And that's what this is saying, is finding the path to the goal. You're finding your way to abundance. And when you're doing the little works, the small steps, the quiet inner work, the quiet next steps, you're doing those things like you're filing the paperwork to get your business license. You're filing the paperwork to, get that promotion. But you're doing everything in silence. You're not promoting it. You're not bragging. You're not being loud and boisterous. And that's what's going to be your success this month. So fire, take the just time to be more relaxed about things. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. If it's not, it's not. Don't put a lot of energy into forcing things this month. Your message from the tarot is the 10 of Pentacles, 10 of Coins. There is a success vector here, a completion cycle. But I want to make it clear, you've got two different sides of a coin. You have completion through quiet action equals success without accolades, or success with accolades through trial and conflict that makes you feel hollow and miserable inside. The choice is yours, fire. Doing so quietly, with quiet grace, working in alignment with divine will, success without fanfare. Being loud, being boisterous, getting in the middle of conflict, fighting your way through things. You may end up with success, but at what cost? It's not going to doesn't look good there. So let's take a peek at our 5th week, our bonus week, because it's about a half of a week, so we'll just do a little bonus one here. We have honesty and communication are the angels that are coming in for your guides and guardians. With honesty and communication, this is first of all to yourself. Are you being honest with yourself as to what your goals and dreams and ambitions are? Are you being honest with yourself what success looks like? I'm asking the question, you can answer for yourself in your journals. And when you come to the conclusion of what honesty looks like, and are you being honest, that opens the door to communication with a deeper version of yourself, with your higher self, even to the point of opening the door to your shadow so you can understand why you would go that other direction in the first place. But when you can see and be clear and open with this information, the honesty and communication angels are going to guide you into the path that's actually going to be the best for your soul's journey anyway. So this is all a call to return to source, return to your spiritual side. Yeah, the material side can be fun for a moment. And fire, you tend to do really well there, but this month it is not about that. It's about stepping away from that for a period. Your message from Source is with Archangel Raphael, the provider of healing for mind, body, and spirit. When you become honest and clear and you're communicating openly, you work with the angels, this time Archangel Raphael, and it helps clear out the stuff that's not working. If you feel that there's been something that didn't go right, or you feel guilty over something because you didn't get involved, or however that's going to play out, when you ask for healing, Raphael comes forward, so does Gabriel, but in this instance, I would say both of them. Raphael is going to help heal the mind, body, spirit, and Gabriel is going to help with the bonding and healing of the emotional side of things. So you have this call to take the breath, take the break, allow yourself to heal, recover. It doesn't show this month is going to be total chaos unless you take an alternative, take a certain path, the path that others would like you to take. You know in your soul that that's not the right path. So what I'm feeling with this one is if you take the right path, by the end of the month, you're still going to feel kind of tired, not wiped out. If you take the path of going through that conflict, you're going to be exhausted at the end of this, which you're going to need the healing from Archangel Raphael. But if you take the alternative path where it's more quiet, more subtle, things happen, but it's not loud and bombastic, you're still going to get to the point at the end where you might just need a little pat on the back and some refreshing. And do that. Take the time for self-care by the end of this month, whether it's a camping vacation, whether it's, getting ready for some kind of a holiday you got going on, whatever, but take the time by the end of the month to allow yourself to rest and recover. Your message from the tarot at the end of the month, and I have to censor this one, is number 27, which is the stars. And when you shoot for the stars, miracles happen. This month, you're staying so focused on the goal at hand, whatever that may be, that you avoid the conflict. You're able to move through the pattern of life without dealing with all that drama, challenge, and headache, because it's not yours to deal with. It is your pattern, your path to grow and expand. And when you do that, so the stars equal success. The stars equal ending up where you didn't think you could be. You're shooting beyond where you'd originally planned. And so you've got this really strong energy. If you go through the conflict, probably not the best decision. You're going to be exhausted. You might have some level of success, some accolades and things like that, but it's just going to cause more problems down the road. But if you take the quiet path, the path where you dodge that conflict, where you hand that conflict off to someone else because the will of heaven is saying, not your problem, don't take this. And when you dodge that and you go around it, you follow the guidance of your angels and your guardians, you end up in the stars. You end up so much beyond where you thought you would end up that it changes how your perspectives of life goes. You'll hear the old saying, you shoot for the moon, you end up in the stars. That's where you're aiming. You're shooting for the moon, but this month you're actually going to end up in the stars as long as you don't plant yourself in the middle of chaos. So with that, Fire family, I will let you guys and gals go. Again, if you had any other insights or visions that came through, please drop those in the comments. It's always interesting to hear other people's ideas. With that, have a great rest of the month, and I will see you in the next video.